everyone, and welcome to the Collector 75's latest video, which is of course my custom Generation 1 Black Zarak. I had planned to do this video about, oh my god, when did I make this? I don't know, earlier in the year. That would have been about April, May 2021. I didn't get around to it for a couple of reasons. One, I decided to not continue with YouTube anymore, and to be honest, this wasn't the only one I was actually doing at the time. I had 3 or 4 others planned, and so it was just I finished this one and wanted to move on to the next while the weather was there, because believe me, doing customs sometimes, especially when you're doing a lot of painting, it's easier when you have a lot of good weather, really, because obviously you can just leave it outside and it dries pretty quick. But in the weather at the moment, for example, it's wet outside, cold. You can do it as long as you've got a nice indoor sort of like shed or something like that, and you can leave it. But obviously, because of the cold weather, it will take longer to dry and whatever. So anyway, so I wanted to get them done while the hot weather was there. So anyway, so I never really got around to doing it. So we're going to start off with the box here. Now this, if you'd seen one of my birthday hauls, I think it was from about 2 or 3 years ago, I actually bought this box off eBay. I don't know if it's a birthday haul, or it could have been any bloody haul, I can't remember. But I got this box off eBay. This is about 80 quid. It cost me about £80. If I'm honest, it wasn't in the best condition. The material they've used, it's a good material because it's not paper. It feels quite nylon-y. But unfortunately, because of that, it doesn't want to stick to the bloody card. So I did retake it as much off as I could and tried getting some of that spray glue, spraying it in and resealing it. But the problem was, because I couldn't take the box apart, because it really needs kind of like, you know, when a box is made up, it's flat before you fold it all up, and that's what it really needed. But I couldn't really take the box apart that well, and yeah, but it's also with the dimensions and the way the material has to fold around it. I just decided to do it like that, and it's worked to a certain extent. It's still a bit floppy, it's still not there, but it's better than it was. So, but it's an amazing box. I can't remember who made this. You can do a search on eBay. I can't remember who. I don't know if they put their thing on this box. I couldn't tell you where you could try and get this from, or the dimensions of how you print it out or anything. No, oh, here you go. And printed in the USA by A3 Customs. So I have no idea if they're still around, but look at this amazing job they've done. They've proper given it. You've got the Japanese image there, but they've given it a proper English bio. Let me just see if I can read a bit, and then what I'll do is I'll take a picture later on and put it at the end of the video if you're really interested in it. So it says his function is enforcer. His motto is survival is a lie. Fallen from grace, stripped of his powers and brought back from the brink of death, Lord Zarak was rescued by the mysterious Devil Zed and binary bonded to a new transector body. He cannot live outside of it. Now he is the personal slave of Devil Zed. That don't make sense, because then it goes Devil Zed's acting. That don't fucking make sense. Anyway, I'll take a picture of that. You can finish it off yourself, because that is some bad English there. Anyway, yeah, blah 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 blah. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically, I mean, I have no idea if that was taken from his Japanese text spec, because it's all in Japanese and you can't tell the fucking difference, you know. So anyway, it's an amazing box though, and it's proper in that gold box style, what you would find in the UK and Europe back in what, about 1990, something like that. Absolutely fantastic box. And on the top, obviously, you've got all the contents and everything. Absolutely brilliant. The only thing it was missing, of course, was a black Zarak. Yes, now I do own an original Japanese Generation 1 black Zarak. The problem with it is all the GPS, all the gold plastic, which just becomes brittle, and this is probably one of the most notorious ones for it, and it literally will just crumble if you look at it the wrong way. Mine was mint in the box when I got it, and I had no idea about GPS at the time. This is back, God, this is about late 90s somewhere, and I bought mine, and yeah, bits just broke off, unfortunately. I've since re-glued it, and it's not too bad, but it's still, you can't get it out. It's a pain in the arse. I wish you probably could 3D print all the gold bits and then redo it. That's what I was thinking of doing, or doing what I've done with this, really, just spraying up a load of gold bits and then swapping them over on that. But I didn't see the point in that, not when I could just do a whole new one like this, really. And this box was just the icing on the cake, really, and that's what really made me want to do it. Anyway, right, so let's crack this fellow open. So this is the innards of the box. Now this, obviously, as you can see in the background here, I've still got the black Zarak. I don't know if that's coming to shot. No, probably not. But I've got the outer box over there behind this. All this obviously didn't come with that. This original box came from an original G1 Scorponok box that I used to have, which I've since got rid of and sold. So I managed to keep the innards. Had to make this central bit to hold him in place just out of an old bit of polystyrene that came from packing. But this is my custom G1 Black Zarak, and I'm now going to get him out and then show him to you and see if I can explain how I did certain bits and what have you. Right, so here he is out of the box. This is him, obviously, in his Scorpion mode. Now, if you want my opinion, I think this is pretty good, and not blowing my own trumpet or nothing, but he actually looks pretty good, and he does the job. I'm pretty certain if I could get my original one out without him cracking in half, if I put them next to each other, I think you'd be hard-pressed to, from a glance, tell him which one is the KO, or custom, because this is made from the KO Black Scorponok that came out a few years ago, which was a lot easier to work with than some of the more genuine G1 Scorponoks, which I had to use for some of my other custom Scorponoks. Yes, so yeah, from a glance, I don't think you'd be able to tell them apart. Most notably, though, obviously you've got these bits that should be gold chrome. Let me just redo that, because I always forget to zoom in the thing so it doesn't do the auto fucking zoom, because that fucking winds me up. Anyway, yeah, so these bits here should be gold chrome. You can try your best to find a gold chrome paint that actually is gold chrome, but you'll never will. They look good while they're wet. As soon as they dry, they just go a bit dull and just look like gold paint, really. So without, like, literally vacuum metallized paint, whichever they use, if there's a way of doing that, it would be fine, but I have no way of doing that. So that wasn't an option. So I did my best with the gold sort of chrome paint. The problem is, as soon as you put like a clear lacquer over them, it just goes really dull. Which was good for some of these guns, because it made them, did really look like that sort of gold plastic. Right, so anyway, so obviously for the head, now you was going to have a problem with the head, because obviously Scorponok and Black Zarak comes with a different head. This one I bought off eBay by the Repro Man, and he does like cold casting of all the parts. He's got pretty much every G1 figure going, and so he kindly, well, I say kindly, it cost me 45 quid, made me this. Obviously, you can, like I said, it's on eBay, you can find it. And it is very good. Obviously, it's not exactly the plastic that would use for the original. This is like a resin plastic, but it does the job and it looks amazing. I remember when I got through the post for this, I could not, that really spurred me on to carry on doing it, because I got halfway and I thought, oh, I can't be arsed now. No, this spurred me on to really finish it off. So then it just simply goes on, same as usual, if I can get it on without it going weird on me, because they're never the easiest to get on, especially when you're on camera. I don't want to break the bloody thing. So that goes in there. And there he is. I'm just going to pick my camera up slightly, try and hold it as steady as I can. And there he is in his Scorpion mode. Pretty good, pretty good. I did use some custom stickers that I got off, I think it was it Toy Hacks, that black one? I can't remember now, because I think I got an upgrade kit or upgrade set from them for G1 Scorponok, and I think he came with that black sticker. But overall, though, I think he looks pretty good. I didn't bother doing the black Lord Zarak. I just kept that one because you never see it, so I didn't see the point. And it was a pain in the ass because you can't take them apart because they're riveted together. But that is him in his Scorpion mode. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. You can still, if I just put my camera back down, you can still open up the claws and everything. He still has all the articulation that G1 Scorponok had, or Black Zarak, if you will. You know, this will move and everything. Pretty good. Now, I probably usually use the lighter grey on these bits here, but at the time, obviously, I just started painting and then realised I should have used the lighter grey, because once it dried, I could have changed it, couldn't be bothered. But that is it really. Let's take him to city mode and I'll show you some more. Right, so here he is in his city mode. Now, there was a reason why I didn't show the transformation, because obviously it's a custom, you're going to get a lot of paint scraping, so when you transform you really need to be careful not to scrape paint. And also thought this is a great time to tell you the do's and don'ts of making a custom. Now, this is my first sort of big scale custom that I've ever done really. I've only ever done small sort of customs before this one. What I forgot to do when I was painting this is taking into account that obviously when you add in a layer of paint, the dimensions become slightly smaller. Like for example, I can't actually get these things into these tabs because I forgot to either just only lightly file down these. So when you're adding the paint, it makes them the same dimensions, or file down inside of those. Yeah, I forgot about that. And obviously these two towers, I couldn't actually get them on. So what I had to do was just now was literally get a small, actually got my scalpel, I don't know what I've done with it now, we're hanging around somewhere. Just scrape the inside to obviously make the tab or this hole bigger, because obviously now this tab is bigger because it's got a layer of paint. And as you can see, it's scraped a load of paint off. But if you do that before you start painting, which I did on some of my other ones, it makes it a lot easier with less scraping. But generally though, it's fine. It's a custom, you know. And I mean, at the end of the day, this was my kind of trial run prototype. So yeah, so always take into account when you're adding a layer of paint, especially to a tab that's going to obviously go into a post or port, I think that's the right word. You know, yeah, take that into account. Anything that rubs together you're going to have a layer of paint scrapes, so be careful, be aware of that. Other than that, just be careful when you're taking it apart, because sometimes there's hidden screws. A sound wave that I made lately, that blooming chest cavity compartment, that is a bloody nightmare to get back together. And obviously sometimes some of these are like rivets, I can't think the right term now, but it's got like just a long bit of metal that just goes straight through, and you've got to hammer that out, especially in this knee joint. This KO, no problem, come out easy as anything. A genuine Scorponok, I was there for ages with a proper big hammer and a blooming file, I think, like a round file, just to get something in that gap without destroying it, and whacking it because it was in there so goddamn tight. Eventually though, it did come out. And then what I did was I filed the inside of the hole so it went back in easier, because you wouldn't want to be hammering it once you painted it, because you will just scrape up the paint and everything like that and ruin it. So anyway, so this is his city mode. Now let's have a look at old, what this guy, Riorichi, I think this guy's called. Obviously I just sprayed him gold and sprayed the wheels, took him apart as best I could. Obviously these wheels, or somewhere in here, is riveted together, so I weren't going to muck about with rivets and things, taking them apart. So I just unscrewed him, prized all the wheels out, and painted them up purple. And he works pretty well, really. Like, you try doing this to an original G1, transforming it, and he'll end up in bits. But there he is, Riorichi. Again, you're going to get a bit of paint scrape just because it's riveted together. But again, at a glance, you aren't going to know the difference. And he stands up there. He will stand up. Look, it's only because it's tilted backwards. But he's quite happy. I'll just lay him down for a second. And that is the city mode. Let me just lift it up just so you can have a quick look. Again, from a glance, you are not going to know that this is a custom. Again, because it's a KO one, this leg back here, it's really loose. This arm, as you can see, is slightly out of position. It just will not go around and lock into position over there. But again, this is because this is a KO one. But it's still pretty good, and was great for a custom. I wish I could have had a couple more. These have been perfect for customs, just because the originals, they were hard to get apart and get back in together, especially the tail section. The tail on this, when I took this tail apart, no problem, because it's all screwed together. The original G1 Scorponok, this tail section here is riveted, so you have to bang those rivets out, and some of them just break. So I had to fix them, and I'll show that on one of my other videos. But I think he looks pretty good, but who displays them in city mode anyway? Not many people. I mean, they are good to display in city mode, but usually you haven't got room to display a whole, like, can't imagine this having this next to Triptychon, and and displaying them all because you haven't got the room. I mean, some people have, but I certainly haven't. Again, I had to put in these holes. This should go in these ones, but I haven't filed the holes out to allow them to go in. So, you know, it's one of those things, but I did for my later ones. Right, so let's take this fella to robot mode and see how good he looks in robot mode. Right, so here he is in robot mode. And as you can see, I think he looks pretty good. I love the black sticker. I put the black one on there because I wanted to make sure that you could differentiate this between this and a genuine black Zarak. And plus I thought the black one, black Zarak, just seemed very apt. Right, so we just got to add a few accessories to him. Here we go. We've got Lord Zarak here, or I don't know what his name was for the black Zarak one. But this is the guy who's supposed to be inside him. So we just got him. I think this is if we just tilt it back. And he still plugs in pretty well, providing I can get him in there. The innards of the Scorponok mould is actually really good. It still does work if you take down this. He's still got speed, strength and intelligence and everything. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you, this still does sort of work. Sort of. But it's a dodgy KO one, so it's a bit shit. Right, so we close that back up and then we close the head back down. Again, like I said before, you can't really see the headmaster, so I never bother. And this little bit you're supposed to put on top of his head is a little loose. I was going to try and build it up with a little bit of nail polish, just put that in there so it grips it a little bit better. But I think I did it once and then never really tested to see if it was enough, so I just need some more on it. First of all, his gun. Here we are. Again, just gold paint all over. I painted this one red, just red spray paint, bright red. That's coming a bit dull there. But again, it looks the part like that. And again, it probably won't go in his hand because I never tested all these things I told you earlier. I just wanted to get on. It will, I just need to scrape the inside of that, make the hole a little bit bigger. That will easily hold that. But the main attraction is his spear, and I'll come to that in a second. So this is his shield. This would have been all gold plastic for the original release and would be completely useless. I think I cracked one of the holes and a bit of the internal mechanism on mine, so I'm never touching it again. But this one is a KO one. Again, I forgot to file down any parts. So originally I'd done this and it would not budge, and I had to literally take a file to the inside of this part here so that connector part would then grip it. And that sort of works. I think it sort of will stick to his arm now. Yeah, there we go. That was one of the first things I did. And then the spear. This again, I can't remember. This is about £40 off eBay. Again, it's cold casted and it just looks the part. It's really good. I really can recommend the Repro Man off of eBay. He does a wide range of parts. And usually, if you contact him, he's pretty much okay with, like, if you've got if you want it in any different color, because he makes them to order. He doesn't keep them in stock or anything. He'll just, as long as he's still got the mold and the mold hasn't degraded, he'll make them for you. It's not a problem. And he's really good. He really he made me a set of, what was that, the Road Caesar parts for the European ones, in different colors. So, and he color matched them. It took him ages, but he color matched them for me and sent me them. And I think he's got some of those, maybe not them ones, but he's got some of the actual Japanese ones up on eBay at the moment, I believe. Anyway, but he will grip this happily, like that. And there is my custom G1 Black Zarak. And it's really good because I love my G1 Black Zarak, the original one. But you just can't display them. The box looks amazing. But you want to get the toy out. You know, I'm not a minting box collector. I like getting them out and I like playing with them when I can. So really, not being able to display them, that was a big bugbear of mine. So, and this was one of the first customs I ever thought of trying to make. And I think he looks pretty damn good. I love him. If you've got a G1 Scorponok, again, I couldn't get mine out. It's too buried in the loft, unfortunately. I love it. Absolutely love it. And again, it's not beyond anyone. It is really, if you can take a screwdriver to a transformer and undo it, as long as you're wary and mindful of where all the springs and stuff go, because obviously, say if you was to take apart if I'm just getting to stand up quickly, if you can take like this claw, there's a giant spring in here because this mechanism here is all spring loaded. That's how it moves around. So as soon as you open it up, just keep your eye on, there's a giant spring there. Take a picture of it as you open it. So you've got a picture of how it all goes back together. And you can do it, and then just practice before you even do it. And you can take it apart, put it back together quickly, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. And it's as easy as that. And just spray it, no problem. I use an undercoat. I tried not to originally. I was trying to just put in black spray paint on top, and that didn't work, so I had to use an undercoat. I was using like a grey primer. Done the job. I hand painted all the little red accents on here, and I think they come out really well. I hand painted those, and a few other little bits. The sticker sheet is the KO sticker sheet that actually came with it, like those knee sort of like these ones. They shouldn't be black, but it suited it, so I stuck with it. I think it looks really good. Again, if I showed you earlier, one of these legs is bloody loose. It's because these ones are actually used screw joints in here, whereas the original were riveted. So now one of them I can't actually tighten up without taking them all apart. Pain in the arse. But again, I like it. So anyway, I hope you have found this video entertaining, informative, who knows. But, you know, it's a video that I did want to try and put out there for everyone, just so they can see. Hopefully, you know, it's customs that can be really fun. And then you can end up with something that's yours, that has your kind of stamp on it. Yeah, and again, it's just amazingly fun. It's fun to do. Yeah, don't know what else to say really, but yeah, hopefully it can inspire you to show that even if you think you're no good at customs, of course you can. Anyone can do it. You know what I mean? Just put your mind to it and go for it. You'll make mistakes. I do. You should see the blemishes around this point here, where I accidentally dropped it on one of my other customs on a Scorponok. I painted the head helmet thing. I dropped that on the floor out there and had loads of leaves stuck to it, but I scraped them all off. But to be honest, it actually looks all right. So I stuck with it. You know what I mean? And they are the things. So don't worry about it. It's as long as you've got the money to waste on a figure, if you see what I mean, that you don't mind, that you're prepared that if it all goes wrong, whatever, stick with it. Anyway, right, this has been Graham, the Collector 75. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you again soon. Bye for now. Hello there everybody, this is Graham, also known as the Collector 75, and welcome to another episode of the Collector 75's Custom Corner. Well, for this episode, as you will have seen by the title, we are going to be doing a build your own Generation 1 Black Zarak. Now, I hear you ask, why Black Zarak, or why Generation 1 Black Zarak really? Well, as everybody should know, will know, whatever, Black Zarak is a very rare toy. He's also a toy plagued with massive amounts of GPS, which is obviously gold plastic syndrome, in which all the gold plastic just is so brittle that if you stare at it the wrong way, it just falls apart. And I do have an original Japanese Generation 1 Black Zarak, and the problem I have with it is that it's a lovely, lovely toy, but I can't do anything with it. I can't really pose it. I can't transform the bloody thing because it will just fall apart. So, you know, it's a catch-22. It's great to have it, but what the bloody hell do you do with it? I had this idea mainly because I saw, and you will need these if you want to make your own Black Zarak. A guy on eBay by the name of the Repro Man. He does a lot of reproduction, Generation 1 parts and everything. And he does it by cold casting, because he does have a lot of the Generation 1 toys. I think he said I'm sure he said he did have them all. But anyway, the first part you will need is a reproduction, or if you can get an original, it's even better, Black Zarak head. This is amazingly well done. I was surprised how well this actually came out. I got this the other day, or yesterday in fact. Lovely. I mean, yeah, you can tell it's a reproduction. It's a bit rough around the edges and everything. But look at that. He's done an amazing job painting the face. Absolutely excellent. And he did throw in the little crest. It does say on the listing that you need to order the crest separate, but I couldn't see the listing. I did ask him and he said he would throw it in. So again, so if you order it, you'll just need to check that out. But that is an exceptional head. You will need this, and it will fit on Scorponok here. So what else will you need? Well, you'll need a Scorponok toy, which I do have here. I actually have 3 of these, because I'm going to do 3 different Scorponok customs. But this video is going to be centered around Black Zarak. So I thought I'd start with Black Zarak because he's the easiest, because he's just got one general colour scheme, which is black. And I didn't want this video to run too long, so I'm not going to show too much of me doing it. I'm just going to show various stages and everything, but I will explain certain parts that you may find a bit tricky, or you want to be careful of anyway. Right, so obviously you'll need a Black Zarak, you'll need a Generation 1 Scorponok here. Now, the only parts that I can assume that you will find, you want to be careful with when you take it back, is probably the central body, because you've got all the mechanism for these legs that you want to make sure that you don't break or misalign when you re-put it back together. Also, you've got the headmaster gimmick in here, which controls the little readout there and everything. So you want to make sure that when you take it apart, because some things are spring loaded, some of these legs, especially the ratchet, is also when you take those apart, you want to make sure that as you take it apart, you know how it goes back together, and 2, you don't lose the springs and everything like that, so you can keep it in integrity correct. So yeah, so you know how to get it back together, because I've done that with a Generation 1 Soundwave. I took his chest compartment apart and I couldn't get the fucker back together. So yeah, you will need to be careful on that. Right, so yes, so I'm going to show, I'm probably going to do the arms first, then the legs, then the main body, and then the tail. Some of these grey parts, they're all riveted in, so I can't really pop those apart without having to re-rivet them back, and I don't have a rivet gun or anything. So I'm going to have to find a way of painting the grey parts and the green parts separately, but still attached. The rest of it, maybe the same for this part too. So these are rivets as well by the looks of it, or at least they're pinned in, but I don't fancy taking those apart. So so those bits and these bits are about the only sort of trouble that I'll have, really, or I should have. The rest of it I can take apart and spray individually. Right, so I'm rambling on a little bit there. So what else will you need? Depending on how much of a completeness you want, you're going to need all the extras. I don't have a complete Scorponok at the moment. One of them is complete because it's a knockoff. This one I bought mostly complete. It's missing about 4 bits, so I need to track down those bits. Again, you'll need a Black Zarak head. I need to get the spear one day. They're a bit pricey. I was thinking of looking into maybe doing it myself, like the cold casting itself, but I don't know, I may still do it, I don't know. Anyway, right, so what I'm going to need, what else you're going to need? Well, I use primer. I usually prime nearly every part. I might try not priming some parts, but we'll see when it comes to that. Of course, we're going to need some, I usually use black gloss, because you don't want it matte. But if you do use matte, you can use like a clear lacquer, and that usually makes it a bit more glossy, so that's not too bad. So for some of the highlights, you're going to need a gloss red, like the little the little bits here on Black Zarak are red, so you're going to need to paint them red. That might require a paintbrush, unless I can figure out about spraying them without getting red paint everywhere else. Right, so Black Zarak has some gold on him. Now I've got this one. This is like supposed to be a gold chrome paint, but by the time you spray it on and it dries, it just looks kind of gold. It's very hard to get a good shiny gold. In fact, it's nearly fucking possible. So this will probably double as just a normal gold parts. The gold chrome parts, I'm actually going to try and use this. Whether this works or not, this is like a bronze gold, but this is a bit more shiny than that. So it's not going to be gold. but it will be a kind of gold looking shiny thing until I touch it. As soon as you touch it, then it rubs the gold off, and I can't lacquer it because that just takes the gloss off it anyway. So that is my one problem that I'm going to have to try and either figure out or just put up with, unfortunately. Right, so that is the end of this part. I think the next part I might just like take the arms apart, or show you sort of various parts. I don't know yet, because it might be a while until I do the next part of this video. Right, anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Hello there, just a quick update, just showing a quick bit of progress. So obviously, as you can see here, I've started to paint all of the guns gold. What I'm going to do with these, I've used a gold chrome paint, which is quite shiny, but usually as soon as you touch it, it sort of like rubs all the shine off. But what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to go over it with a clear lacquer. That will take the shine off and make it a bit more sort of like a deep gold. So that should be fine for them. As you can see, I've got a few more parts down here. Sorry about the glare and everything, but it's a really bright sunny day here. As you can see, I've made a start on the Rio Ricci, or whatever his sort of name is, and the other bits up here. They look really nice in this gold chrome paint. But like I said, it will go a bit dull, and they're not supposed to be bright anyway, but it does look good like that. And we've done the ramps and his gun section here in gloss red. That's pretty much dry, that's pretty much done. I've just got to clean some bit of, what is it, blue tack out of there, and I might just use a paintbrush and just paint the top of this. I really should have tried to leave all of this unpainted, so when you attach those guns over there to it, it goes on. But it shouldn't be too bad. And the other bit, of course, now I did say if you're doing this yourself, you're going to run into trouble with this guy. I originally wanted to take him apart, but he's riveted at the hips here, and you can't take this section apart because you'd need to get these parts apart to get these parts apart, and again the top parts. So I gave up with that. I've already tested one before because I'm doing another custom, and I just wanted to test that one quickly. It worked just spraying it, turning it over and spraying all the other parts and then moving it. So I'm hoping this one will work the same way, but I will let you know. This one is a KO, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. As you can see, I don't know if you're going to see any of the pitting in the plastic there. This gold paint really brings out the detail of the really bad quality KO that it is. But again, this is why I originally bought this KO, was to make this G1 Black Zarak. As you can see, oh yeah, also I've done these parts up here. You're not going to really see this. Let me move them into the sun. They're supposed to be like grey, but I found this gunmetal paint that I had, and I thought that'll do. But it is actually really coming out quite darker than I wanted. But again, it's a custom. Unless I couldn't be, it's hard trying to find the right paint at the right moment. You don't always know exactly what colour it's going to come out at, and I thought it was going to be a bit lighter. I could have just used ordinary grey, I suppose, but I thought this would be all right. It's a bit darker, but then again, it's a custom. It can, you know, you're allowed to use a bit of artistic license, so that's why I started that. Right, okay, that'll do for now. So, a quick update. I've actually painted nearly all of this now. Sorry about the glare in the sunlight. As you can see, the main sort of body's done there and there. Now, I did have a lovely bit of wind just decided to come along as soon as I started filming. That's always good. Anyway, yeah, I did have a slight snag with these legs. You've got to pop this pin out. It runs straight under here. I don't know if I can show it quickly if I turn this over. Just literally, if I turn that over, actually, there we go. You can sort of see it just running straight down there. The little knobbly bit that holds it, where it's sort of like a grip, is just in the middle. So as you push it out, it's going to force it past those legs. So you've got to work out which way you want to go with it, really. And when you're putting it back, you are going to run into a little bit of trouble putting it back because you've got to get it past all the legs first. So what you need to do is like just bore out the hole just a slight bit. It's not hard. It's just that normally it isn't a problem. It's just because it's all paint, you'll very easily scratch all the paint off. So all I'm doing now is literally just touching up some of these. I've just got to go over the little bits like that. I'm just going to paint red and the red highlights on the claws and everything. And that is it. Then it's just pretty much a straight reconstructing it back together, and it should be pretty much done, apart from putting some labels on. Right, so this is my Generation 1 Black Zarak custom, fully done. Sorry about knocking the camera everywhere there. I'm in my garden finishing this off because I thought this is where I did most of the filming, so this is where I'm going to finish up. So yes, this is him fully finished. I painted the little highlights on the arms here red, put all the labels on, reassembled him. And if I'm honest, I think I did probably, like, you know, if the 100% was your very best, this is about 70%. Because I just missed a few bits that I didn't think that I'd have to paint, that obviously I did. Bits that I should have rubbed down before I painted, which I didn't. But I'll come to those quickly. Yes, right, so on Black Zarak here, on the thigh section, here's another one which I'm doing at the moment, right? I didn't rub this little bay door down, if I can get this one to open, which it doesn't want to open. It did open earlier. Why isn't it opening? There we go. Right, so on this one I didn't rub it down and I can barely move it, but this one I just took a file, rubbed it down. I mean, I'm getting a tiny bit of paint and scrape, as you can see, but I did take a good layer off, and it works well enough. It's really good. Someone did ask me on one of my other videos that I posted for that 9.5 weeks, and they said, like, I think you're painting an Omega Supreme or something, and do I get paint scraping? I think everyone gets paint scrape. You've just got to try and avoid it as best you can. Be very careful when you're transforming it. And basically, like I just said, just if you know it's going to rub, you need to take a file or sandpaper, sand it down before you paint it. That way you're taking a layer down, so it brings it down, and obviously then you're going to get less paint scrape. But to be fair, I think you're probably going to get some no matter what. But you just got to be prepared for that. That's why I stick to Generation 1 figures, really, because there's a lot less moving parts. Anyway, right, so this is him. I'm going to try and get around here as best I can, just to show him off. Right, so I did do a little Riorici as well. He didn't turn out too bad. I weren't too bothered, really. I was just doing this really quick. I just give him a nice gold coat. Painted the little wheels purple. I bought these little guns off the Repro Man off eBay, because I thought, well, it was easier than painting them up and trying to find some real ones off eBay, because the prices of these can go really high. But he's pretty cool. He's fully transformable. I bought the spear. Is it? I can't remember. Spear or something. Anyway, I bought that off the Repro guy off eBay, and same with the head. Like, I didn't do that. I'm not that brilliant. This was like £40. That's £40. Can be quite expensive, but to be fair, it's probably better. I've seen another customer on I was looking on the internet. They just used the regular Scorponok head and painted it red. That ain't too bad, but it's not like a genuine feel. I do have a little crest bit. It's just in a bag over there. I forgot to put it on. But he is fully articulated. You can still move him around. We've got the arms here and everything. Let me take the spear out. Just be careful not to scrape any paint, and he can't fall backwards because he'll fall off this bloody table and break. Anyway, but he's still got all the ratchets in his arm and everything. I kept all them. And as you can see, I don't get hardly any paint scrape or anything like that. He can still move everything. And he still does have the head mask. I haven't painted his head. I couldn't be bothered. And I do have like a knockoff one, and if I paint him gold, you're going to get a lot of paint scrape on the actual head as you plug it in. Plus you can't see it on Black Zarak, so I didn't bother with that. So that's that. I'm going to be very careful. On this gold chrome paint, it never dries properly, so if you handle it, it just leaves fingerprints all over it. You can try a lacquer, but then that takes the shine off it. So you just got to be I've just got to be as careful as I can. But as you can see, I've done all the insides and everything. I use my cuff there to close that back up, otherwise that's going to get loads of fingerprints and everything over it. You can't avoid some of it, unfortunately. I've got a little bit of scraping here and everything. But it is what it is. It still looks very impressive, if you want my opinion. Right, I'm going to stop it here and transform him, just show him in Scorpion mode. Right, so here he is, transformed up into his Scorpion mode. I've left the crest piece indoors, which is a bit annoying. But the crest piece just hides his face, and you can't really see it in this mode from this angle too badly anyway. This is actually a KO Scorponok that I used for this. And if I bring in some of the other bits, these ones are genuine ones that I bought off eBay, and they're a lot better quality than this, if I'm honest. Yeah, this one does have its issues, unfortunately, but it's still not too bad. But yeah, but you know, it does what it does. It still looks the piece. You know, if you just want a black Zarak to stand there and look like it's looking like black Zarak, this is absolutely phenomenal, if I'm honest. I think I did a really good job, but he's going to just stand there, because I do have an original black Zarak, but you can't do anything with it. It's pain in the fucking arse, if you want my opinion. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave this one here. This is just to show it. He does transform into the battle station mode, but yeah, it's I'm going to scrape a lot of things, because like I said, I didn't rub them all down properly, but I've learnt my lesson for my next one, because this one was the first one, and it's a lot of sometimes you don't need to rub things down, most of the time you do, but this one was more like a test run for 2 more that I want to do. And so far I've done a white one, and that's come out a lot better, with less paint scraping and less problems, and that's what you want, really. Sometimes you just need to find your feet where you're going, because this is one of the biggest customs I've done, really. I've only ever done like a few Seekers and a few small cars and what have you. So this did take a lot of time. It took me about a week all in, but obviously I had to source all the paint and everything like that. I actually need some good weather as well to let all the stuff dry properly, because I've done one last week and it was raining all week, and that was annoying as hell trying to do that. Anyway, right, so hopefully this will help you if you want to try one yourself. It's doable. That's what this video is all about. It's doable. Anyone can do it, because I'm not the world's best customizer, believe me. But it's doable. That's what I'm trying to convey. Anyway, right, this has been Graham, the Collector 75. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you didn't find it too boring or whatever, but it's more of a just a quick sort of video, really. Anyway, right, this has been Graham. I shall see you all next time in another video. Bye for now.